witch is back. The witch is back.
Spooky intro, spooky video. Welcome back to my channel. In my room tour video, I asked if you guys wanted to hear the spooky story behind the bell that I kept in my oddities cupboard. Quite a few of you responded and said that you did. So that's what we're doing today. This bell was given to me by my mother. She went to visit family and brought it back for me. Now, I don't really know a lot about the bell itself, but I know where it came from. It came from an antique shop, and the location where this bell was found is why I think it's haunted. So our story goes back to 1939. My great-grandfather lived in a small town in Indiana and worked on a planing mill. I've heard this story a lot growing up. I knew about it. Recently, we've went through our ancestry and found the certificate of my great-grandfather's death, which just kind of solidified like how real it is. His cause of death says crushing injury of chest, and the reason is from being caught in a freight elevator. I've known this story for a long time. I think about it too much sometimes when I'm in elevators, but it felt like an urban legend or lore growing up, but it was a real thing that happened. So this planing mill still exists. It's still standing. However, it has now been converted to an antique mall. And the last time my mother was in Indiana, she visited it and she brought me back a gift. Now, what's crazy about this gift is not just that it came from the planing mill that my great-grandfather died in, but the elevator shaft has now been like painted over into like a little corner, and you can tell what it once was, but they clearly like walled it off and painted it, and that is where she found this bell, this like old like school bell to bring back for me. Thanks, Mom. She did say that there were a bunch of like dolls and stuff in there, but there was like a bell, and I'm kind of glad that she gave me the bell and not like a scary porcelain doll. So yes, that is where this bell came from. That is the backstory of why she went to this planing mill. She went to go see it, to see the antique mall, and she found this in the elevator shaft where my great-grandfather died. So she brought me this bell back. She told me where she found it, and I did kind of jokingly put it inside of this like bell jar for a while, and put a little sign on it that says haunted bell, and I put it on my bookshelf among some of our books. It didn't happen on like a daily basis, but for a couple of weeks, things on that shelf would be knocked over. A book would be knocked over, or another like knickknack that I had would be like turned on its side. And I usually write that stuff off because I live in Southern California. We get micro earthquakes. And to be fair, that bell in the bell jar was probably not like the most sturdy of bookends that I could have used. So sometimes I was just like, oh, it's just because I don't have an actual like bookend and I'm using this to keep my books standing upright. But it only happened on that shelf for a while, which was just kind of bizarre. So I was up late one night, a couple weeks after we got the bell, and I was like on my computer when very suddenly my door slammed shut. Of course, it scared the living heck out of me. I didn't have any other doors or windows open. I couldn't blame it on the wind. The only thing that was present was my sister's cat. And I will say to you that my sister's cat is not the brightest crayon in the box. The only thing that I can think of that may have happened is if he got scared by something, ran in the dark towards the door and ran face first into the door, causing it to slam. Now I realize that that seems like a bizarre thing to happen. If you knew my sister's cat, you would not necessarily think so. It is suddenly a very plausible thing to happen, but he was standing right next to, like he was just sitting next to the bookshelf where the bell was, like licking his paws, or just like he was just sitting, hanging out, and out of nowhere, he jumps up and the door slams and he's standing in front of the door that closed. I did not immediately think that it was the bell that did it. However, it's very bizarre that he was standing next to where the bell was. Even if he's the reason the door slammed and it was not anything paranormal at all, it's still bizarre that he just got suddenly scared by something, although again, not too surprising for my sister's cat. It didn't immediately dawn on me that it might have been the bell. It took me a couple days before I thought like, oh, that's kind of a bizarre thing that also happened. So yeah, because I'm a witch, we did a full cleansing the room, and then after I thought about it for a while, I decided to also cleanse out the bell, just because I didn't want anything negative hanging out. I do like to only get rid of things that are negative because I don't want to miss out on any potentially positive paranormal experiences. So yeah, not a super long story, not a whole lot of activity. It's not Annabelle or anything like that, and we haven't really had anything happen with it since, but I also haven't really kept it in a place where it was like prominent for a while. I had it in like a drawer for a while, and now it is going in this little glass cupboard. I have my little thingy here, and it's not picking anything up. It's nothing's going off, so no activity anymore really, but I will let you guys know if anything else comes up with it. I just thought that because of its kind of scary backstory, and then the fact that like weird stuff happened after I got it, was sort of worthy of a video. So that is the story of the haunted bell. Again, I will let you guys know if anything else comes up from it. If you want to hear some more of my spooky stories, just let me know. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys have any scary ghost stories or experiences, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Back in you go.